everybody, welcome back. Thanks, Nick. Out in the field, I've actually been spending all day with Nick, and just before I came on here, I was handed these two utensils, and I'm not really sure why. So maybe the chat can catch me up on what's going on. But before we get into it here, I'm Todd Fortier. I'm a Senior Solutions Architect here at AWS, and I'm excited to talk about, what are we talking about? SageMaker and Lakehouse.
Zero-ETL.
Oh, my favorite word.
Hey, you forgot to introduce me. Hi, I'm Jasmine Kyles. Welcome back to AWS OnAir. We are joined with our newest friends here to talk about Zero-ETL. Who do we have here?
Hey everyone, my name is Jyoti Agarwal. I am a product manager with Amazon Redshift, and I lead all Zero-ETLs.
Hi everyone, my name is Sean Ma. I'm a Principal Product Manager with the AWS Glue service, and I'm also here to talk about all of our new Zero-ETL capabilities that we just launched.
Yeah, so tell us about what it is that you've launched.
So, just taking a step back for a second, Amazon's been on a journey to build out Zero-ETL for several years. It started in 2022. In fact, Jyoti launched the first one with Aurora.
Guilty as asked.
That's right. So it's been something that not only our goal is to make it much easier for people to get their data into their data warehouses, data lakes, and things where they can analyze the data and machine learning. Well, what's happened on that is that's become more popular, and what we've heard about is they want to get data from some applications that they use. Things like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Zendesk, things that people are often using, and they want to bring that into AWS and actually use it there. On top of that, you heard today we launched our new Amazon SageMaker Lakehouse. So we also want to make sure that people can bring the data and just replicate the data to that as well.
Okay, wow. That is fun, and you've taken us on a journey. I had no clue we were sitting with Zero-ETL royalty.
You know, we have so many customers like that. They are using Zero-ETL day in and day out. Like Sean was saying, that we've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
You know, taking the muck out of data integration and moving data. In fact, customers like Intuit, United Airlines, Southwest, Motive Technologies, like we have a big umbrella of brands behind Zero-ETL, and it's really exciting and amazing that we continue to invest in it and continue to innovate for our customers.
Yes, this is a term I've heard quite a bit this year, Zero-ETL. And for our audience who might not know what that is, ETL, extract, transform, and load. And when we say Zero-ETL, we want to make sure that you don't have to extract, transform, and load, or at least make it easier to get data from one place to another.
Actually, it's even better than that. So we take care of the ETL for you, so you don't have to do it. So the zero means you don't have to worry about it. You, the customer, don't have to worry about it. We'll take care for you because Zero-ETL is fully managed by AWS. So you just say, where's your source? Where do you want that data to be replicated? And we'll take care of it all for you.
This is such an important conversation. I've talked to so many customers this year who said, I've got all this data and I've got it in all of these applications. How do I start to get value out of this data? And they start to think, I've got to develop this connector, and I've got to do this, and now I've got to manage this code, and who's going to manage that long term? But you're saying with tools like this, they don't have to do any of that anymore.
That's exactly right. And one of the bigger challenges recently is because when you're dealing with applications that are outside, oftentimes things are different. Every company has their own standard. Every company has their own APIs. So you have to learn these different things, and that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. Again, that's something that's baked into Zero-ETL here. You don't have to worry about any of those things. You just say, this is the system I want to replicate my data to. Where do you want to go? And we'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, and you've talked about a little bit about the applications. You mentioned some of them in your intro, but like, why is it hard for these companies to extract data from like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Zendesk, SAP?
So the biggest reason why is in the application space, there's usually there's no standard definition for how you access that data. Yes, everyone's using common protocols, REST APIs, things of that sort, but everyone has a different flavor, and you have to learn what that is. That's one aspect. The second aspect is, of course, as you know, cloud applications, they change, they update, they modify. So how do you ensure that you're always keeping that up to date as part of this as well? Last but not least, because you're dealing with applications, there's also each application has their own internal definition of what data means. So bringing that in a standardized format so you can do analytics is a bit more difficult. It takes more time to figure that out.
Okay.
Very cool. And you have a demo for us. You're going to show us how easy this actually is. Okay, let's bring it up on screen.
Yeah. So what I'm going to just do, just kind of give you an idea of what we're going to go through. As I mentioned, the whole point of Zero-ETL is that we're taking care of it for you. So the demo is actually going to be pretty pretty quick and hopefully pretty easy to follow. But what's happening under the covers are the following steps. So you can imagine we have various systems on the left side, which is SaaS applications, hybrid applications, native cloud, those type of things. What zero-ETL is going to allow you to do is first ingest that data in. So bring the data from those applications in, first ingest that, and then we're going to format it. I mentioned that each application, they have their own formats, they have their own particularities. That's fine, that's good. But you want to get that in a standardized format so that you can then load that data into your end system. And what we're going to talk about today is how you can load that into Redshift and also make that available in the new SageMaker Lakehouse, right? So as part of that process, not only is that data then loaded, is then updated in our catalog, so you're always tracking that. And the last part I'll mention on this whole thing is as the data changes, so this is the key part, as data changes, meaning new rows of data come in, so a new record comes into Salesforce, something changes in your Zendesk account, that is automatically picked up, brought in, and those changes are then applied onto that target. So you have one up-to-date result in your end system. And then, of course, you can use it for data processing, analytics, and things of that sort.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, that is really fascinating. So we are live. So back to the chat here. We have Pillbox Gaming saying, our workplace may be able to utilize that. I know they are heavy in ETL. So my advice, stick around. We'll drop some links in the chat, and then Sean will tell us what you can do to go and get started after we're done with the demo. And then also we have Manello Brown said, I was there the last 2 years and I missed it. Hey, we missed you too, but keep watching us this week.
That's great.
All right.
I don't know about you, Jasmine, but I love a good diagram. Well, I love that diagram here. So ingest, format, load data, update catalog, and then we're going to get that into a data lake, which is traditionally done in Amazon S3. But I kind of want to see how it's done. Like I want to see what buttons do I have to click.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, let's get this started. Let's get to
So while you're getting the demo up, let's ask the chat. Like, have you ever heard of Amazon zero-ETL integrations? Let us know. All right, so what are you going to show us here in the demo?
Okay, so we're gonna get started here with we talked about AWS Glue. AWS Glue is Amazon's data integration service, which does fall on ETL. And as I mentioned, there's many cases where you do want to do ETL, where you want to customize your pipelines and things of that sort. But what we're going to talk about today is this new capability here. Can you guys see? Hopefully, you guys can see my.
Can you make it full screen or make it a little bit larger?
Sure. No worries.
Yeah, so we're in the AWS console, and we are specifically within the AWS Glue service dashboard.
That's right. Good point. Right. So as you can see here, we have our ETL capabilities, but what we're going to choose today is going to choose zero-ETL integrations. This is just launched today. I just heard it this morning. And that's where you're going to see, this is how you get started. So people ask that question, how do you get started? You go to the AWS Glue console, you click zero-ETL integrations, and boom, you're introduced with this, so you can get started with your creation of zero-ETL.
It even says new right next to it, just so you don't have to guess.
Would you mind zooming in just a little bit?
Zoom in a little bit so we can read what's going on.
Yeah.
There it is. There's that new.
There's the new here.
Okay, so up at the top, how it works. Step 1. Prepare the source data.
That's right. In fact, that's going to be the first step, right? So in order to connect to anything, you're going to have to create a connection so that you can specify that. So for this example, you can create data connection, and you'll see a whole range of data sources that are already supported. This is actually supported in Glue. Many of these support in Glue. We're going to pick one, in this case, one of the new sources that we support for zero-ETL. We're going to choose that, in this case, Salesforce. And for this demo, I'm not going to walk through all these things here and spill all my secrets to the world for that. So just kind of show you, it's really easy. You specify
just a quick plug in there. Even though these seem like quite a bit of steps, it's just simple authentication, hey, this IAM role, that connection. These are just the basics.
That's right. Yeah. That's actually a good point. When you log into this, it's very much like how you would log into your Salesforce account anyways. Yeah. It would actually, for the same credentials, it'll prompt you in the same manner, right? So it'll show up here. It's just one step and create it. Here's the beauty of all this. You can have this all pre-created, or Jyoti could have created for me. In fact, for this demo, you know what? I'm going to use the one that she created. So I'm going to use one that she created earlier, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a brand new zero-ETL integration. So you see this big orange button here? Okay. We're going to click that and launch that. I'm going to choose out of the options I have for zero-ETL through Glue. You have DynamoDB, you have various applications. But since we chose Salesforce as our example here, we're going to use Salesforce, replicate data from Salesforce. I'm going to select that. And from here, I'm going to use that pre-created connection that's here. So let me actually zoom in a little bit so you guys can see better. I have a pre-created Salesforce connection that Jyoti had created earlier, right? I'm going to use that. I'm going to give it a role, and it immediately pulls the information, it gives you a very quick preview, interactive preview of the data and the metadata that's accessible to you. So for example, if I want to say, people often look at opportunities. So great, I want to look at an opportunity. I can quickly preview that. I can see what's inside. This is what the data looks like in Salesforce for an opportunity. This is what is inside that opportunity. I'm actually pulling this live so that I know I'm choosing the right thing.
So one point that I'd like to add is see how you don't have to go back to Salesforce to know what kind of data you are sending to your warehouse or to the lakehouse. You can preview it right here, see the schema, see the data, and then decide for you what works the best, right?
Yeah, I love that. So we create a connection separately from the zero-ETL job. So once and that's because we might have multiple instances of that type of application. So we want to sort of separate those things, maybe the authentication settings. But traditionally, as an app dev, when I was writing these connectors, because that's what I used to do, I used to have to manage these things, and I'd have to worry about all of the authentication, how to refresh tokens, how to do all of this stuff, and make sure that my endpoint's the right one. And then if I had more than one, that's pretty hard. So I could see how this is already becoming easier for me as a developer. And then seeing the data right in the in the console without having to leave first. Again, like just seamlessly walking you through 1, 2, 3 steps, and we're going to pull this data. So what's next on our demo here? We've confirmed this is the data we want. Right. Now what?
Well, actually, we haven't done that yet. So I'm just showing you that we can do that. Now let's talk about what scenario will be interesting. So I'm actually going to go into Salesforce for a second. So I logged into my Salesforce environment, and I'm thinking today, let's look at what kind of cases we're dealing with. Salesforce is often used for cases. So let's go look at our cases. Okay, this is actually my live Salesforce. Oh, look, I've got these cases here. I've got this information here. I'd like to do some analysis on this one here. Okay, so this is case information. Okay, so now let's go back to that same zero-ETL integration, and I'm going to type in case, right? It's going to bring up information about the case itself, and I'm going to select everything that is useful about the case. So case comments, case contact roles, things of that sort. I'm also going to add the case itself. Okay. So what I've done is I've selected several of these case objects, and I'm going to bring them all in. So this is actually a new capability that we launched with. You can now select all the tables that you're interested in and make that as one single zero integration. Okay? So I've got that, right? Now the next part of this is where do I want this to go? So notice I've now done the source part, figured that out. Now where do I want this to go? I want to choose a Redshift data warehouse. So I picked a Redshift data warehouse that I just happen to have ready. And that's part here, right? I set that. And now that's it. I basically set up what I want for my zero-ETL. My source, my tables that I'm interested in. Here's my target. I can confirm that. I just click next. I go through this. I say, okay, do I want encryption? I'm just going to use the default encryption. I'm going to use the default replication settings for this one here. And we're going to call this integration case. And I hit next. I review the results here. So again, my source is Salesforce. I selected this Salesforce connection. My target is this Redshift environment here. And these are the tables that I'm interested in getting. Just quickly look through that. Great. Everything looks good for me. I'm going to create and launch this. That was it.
Wow.
That's it. All that stuff there is now done. At this point, we're taking care of all the work under the covers.
Okay, so what's happening behind the scenes now? We've said click create. Presumably there's some data moving around somewhere.
That's right.
How do I know when that's done and what's the progress or what's the status of that data?
So obviously, right now it's in the creating mode, so it takes a little bit of time.
It spins up, okay.
It spins up, but what you would do, and I'll show you that. I'll show you a bit more in a second.
We're going to get to that, okay.
We'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second, but just to quickly answer, you have monitoring through CloudWatch logs, through CloudWatch metrics, so you'll know constantly where that status is going. It happens to be initializing right now, getting that initial load of data and pulling that down.
Yeah, and also I'd like to add that we are also integrated with AWS EventBridge on Redshift. So if you choose Amazon Redshift as your target warehouse, so if you subscribe to those EventBridge notifications, you don't have to monitor the console all the time. It will give you a notification that, hey, your integration has been created, go and just do all the fun, all the magic.
Yeah.
Now, you just said something really important. I'm sorry, Jasmine. EventBridge. Now, there's all kinds of events that I can hook into now.
Yes.
So that just opens up a whole world of possibilities on this thing.
Yeah.
Was that where you were at?
That is fascinating. No, I love the follow-up, though.
I'm still thinking about this spoon and fork. Yeah. I'm still very confused.
I'm going back to the chat. So I heard that our friends in Canada just joined us. Let us know where you're joining from. But we have another question here in the chat. And Jyoti, I'm going to bring this to you because you told us a lot of those different types of customers. But Atari, X-Head Game, I'm not going to try to butcher your name, but they are wondering if this is useful for academia or science tech.
Of course, and that's a great question. Yes, it's not industry specific. In fact, if you have a need to run near real time, analytics on all your, let's say you're getting all your student information and you want to quickly process that, hey, how's my class scores like? Definitely, if your data is on any of the operational databases that Sean was showing, let's say Aurora, RDS, DynamoDB, set up a zero-ETL integration. It flows to Redshift, and you can write your scripts, write your SQL analytics right there to feed your dashboards. Absolutely works for academia.
Yeah, nice.
It's very good. So we saw Salesforce. Presumably, when you showed a list of other applications, now are there more applications on the roadmap, or do you intend to come up with more zero-ETL?
The list is long.
Oh.
The list is very long, but that's why we started. We started with the 8, and we listened to our customers. Customers saying, "Hey, we're using these. These are the ones that we're most interested in." But the list is long, and something that we always strive to improve and make better. Right, so this is something we'll continue to build on, just like we've been doing over the last few years. We're going to continue building more application support.
Yeah, for sure. And you weren't kidding. This was a very quick demo. I liked how easy it was. Just 1, 2, 3, build a connection, set up the ETL job. What about custom connectors? What if I have something that's in your supported list? Should I submit feedback to you to maybe support that, or is there a way for me to build my own?
So today, custom connectors are primarily through ETL because they do require literally custom, and they require specification.
And that's an AWS Glue job.
That's right. That's an AWS Glue job. So you customize it through a AWS ETL Glue job. And go from there. It is something that we're looking at. But given the how managed and how tightly controlled these applications are for zero ETL, right now we don't have those custom.
Yeah, you've made it so easy for me. I got to find something else to do with my free time. You know.
What I would say is what you want to do is that now that you've freed up that time, now you can go and analyze that data. So if you want to I'll show you one last part of the demo. I just want to show.
Well, we've only got a minute left, so I don't think we have it. It'll be a teaser. I think you have to come back.
Okay.
So tell us, how can customers get started with zero ETL, and where do you want them to go to learn about this?
You get started, go to the Glue console, and click zero ETL integrations. I'll just click that one right here. You'll go here and you can create integrations. It's just those 3 steps that you have on top. Create your connection, select your target, hit create, and your data will be replicated to where you want.
Yeah, and you were just about to get into what we could do once it's in there, but if you want to find out more about what you can do once it's in there, they can reach out to you and your team, and they can get more information from you.
Yep, that's right.
Okay,
all right.
Maybe that's a good way.
All right, Sean, Jyoti, Todd, it's been wonderful. Chat, hey, thank you for being here. Stick around. We've got more AWS on air after this.
And I promise I'll introduce you next time. I'm so sorry.
Just keep your spork in your food.
Somebody please tell me what this is about.